So this is a story about how I bought one of the rarest BMWs ever made and saved it from the scrapyard. Now, I know what you're thinking. That's not a BMW, and you're right, it's not a BMW. It's called the Fixin 21 TD. The 21 stands for 21 feet long and TD because it's a turbo diesel. It was built here by this guy. You might also know him for making this, but we'll talk more about that some other day. Our shop is called Vulcan Motorworks. It's run by two brothers who have a love for BMW that started when we were young, like really young. When a younger me heard about this thing called a Vixen, which was a camper powered by a BMW diesel engine, I couldn't believe it. I knew I had to have one. But seeing as they only made 587 of them in total, and not all of them had the BMW engine, I wasn't sure if I would ever find the Vixen for me. But I never gave up hope, and one day I woke up to a bunch of messages from my friends telling me that they found one at a local scrapyard. I knew that this was going to be my best chance of getting one, so I called into the wreckers and spoke to John, who was a super helpful guy by the way. And thankfully he saw the potential in this vehicle and posted it online to see if anybody wanted it before letting it go to scrap. After a few chats and pictures being sent my way, I bought it right there over the phone without even seeing it in person. Risky move, eh? When I later arrived at the scrapyard to pick it up, I was in awe. It was kinda weird to see this thing in real life, different from anything I've seen on the road before. Even though it was a little bit rough around the edges, I knew there was huge potential in this thing to come back to life, and I was excited to see what we could do with it. I was told that it was able to start, but that it had a massive oil leak they thought was coming from one of the turbo oil lines, and they didn't recommend driving it, but you'll see how we fix that in the next episode. I also noticed right away that the clutch wasn't working, so it would have to be towed to our shop. Getting it back to the shop was a struggle to say the least, but eventually she made it there safe and sound, and that's where we are today. Some of the features on the Vixen that I really like are obviously the BMW M21 turbo diesel engine and the 5-speed manual transmission. These things paired with its lightweight fiberglass construction and aerodynamic body with drag coefficient of only 0.3 give the Vixen a supposed fuel economy rating of 30 miles per gallon. That's really good for a camper. And with a 23-gallon fuel capacity, it should theoretically be able to go around 600 miles without fueling up, which is great for the long road trips that I plan to do with this thing. Some of the other things that I find cool about this Vixen are the large bed that sits on top of the engine, a 4-person dinette that folds flat to make another smaller bed, a full washroom with a toilet, sink, and shower, and a kitchen with a stove, fridge, and microwave. Oh, and the Vixen was made to only be 6 feet tall, to be able to fit inside a home garage, but it has a pneumatic pop-up roof so that even a person who's 6'4" can easily stand up inside. There's honestly so many more cool features on this thing that I'm missing now, but just know it's super awesome and was definitely way ahead of its time. Apologies for the filming of these first few videos. When I started this project, I had no idea this many people would be interested in it, so I only filmed in portrait mode. But I fixed this later so we can have these longer form videos and go into much more detail about the project, because there's so much that I want to show you guys, but I have to cut a lot of it out to fit on Instagram and TikTok. My goals for this Vixen are first to get it running and driving, then fix up everything that I can to get it back to be a proper camper. It's going to be a lot of work, but it's really always been my dream to travel the continent and maybe the world in a camper, and I really want this Vixen to be the one that I do it in. A huge thanks to everyone who's followed along with the project so far, and all the amazing people we've met along the way who've helped us out. Also, special shout out to all the Germans who find it really funny when I say the word Vixen. This whole thing is a huge undertaking for us, and even though sometimes I do feel overwhelmed, I know we'll be successful thanks to the great community around us. Thanks for watching, and I hope you guys enjoy the series.